Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rat Pack Podcast, Episode 4. It's the first podcast of 2021. We're a rat down. Vic couldn't make it tonight, but we're going to power on as normal. We've got his first female guest, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name's Natalia, and I work for the Value group of companies, which you may or may not be aware of. Value Construction, Value Developments, and Value Fitness.
So we've got a powerhouse of a woman on. You might have seen her on LinkedIn. You get quite a lot of engagement, don't you, Natalia? And I think that for his first female guest, I thought, and a couple of Steve, Lee, thought it'd be great to get you on and just find out a little bit more about how you got into construction. How did that happen? You've moved to Canada. You've owned bakeries. You've been in fitness. Come on, tell us where does it start?
Yeah, exactly. Where do we start? Well, firstly, thanks for having me on. It's fantastic, and it's always nice as a female in the construction industry to kind of, get out there and talk a little bit about it. So in terms of how I started in the construction industry, that's my husband's fault completely. I've always been interested in business, and I'd like to consider myself as a bit of an entrepreneur, really. And he'd been a bricklayer for years, and he'd slowly worked his way up through all these companies. And I said, let's start our own business. That was essentially how it started. And he's a little bit more cautious than I am. And eventually we decided to go for it. And we remortgaged the house for £20,000. And we started Value Construction. That was the first business that we did. And initially he went out bricklaying on a lot of the jobs that we did. The first job that we won, we drove past it the other night actually, and it was nice, nostalgic to drive past and see it as the first job that we ever did. And it was a wall. It was a 120-meter wall, and it was about 7 or 8 courses high, nothing spectacular. And he started off on there bricklaying himself, and he ended up taking on about 7 lads to help him finish the job. And then from there, because he'd been in the industry for so long and he'd got the contacts, we just ended up getting bigger and bigger jobs. And we turned over almost £1 million in the first year. So it's awesome. It's been a crazy journey. We're into year 3, and every year it's grown and it's been busier, and it's enabled us to branch off in other directions as well with developments, and buying a gym as well, that's a bit of a random one, and we'll get into that one a bit further down the line.
So, LinkedIn, you've got a big presence on there. You get a lot of engagement on there. I predominantly see a lot of men commenting on it. I see quite a lot of underhanded comments. Somewhat could be close to the line. I never see you bite. I never see you sort of tell anybody off for some of the inappropriate comments. Does it work to your advantage on LinkedIn? What?
That was one time.
Do you get work off LinkedIn? Do you utilize that platform?
That's not why I'm on LinkedIn, predominantly. We do get work off there, and out of all of the staff's inboxes, it tends to come into mine, surprisingly. We do get work off there, but the majority of our work is word of mouth and repeat business. We do a good job. We've got some fantastic lads that work for us, and that's not the reason, that's not what I go looking for on there. If we get work out of it, then great, but what you were saying about the comments and stuff, it's kind of a double-edged sword, really, because you've kind of got to have that engagement where you're a little bit flirty, to kind of get that engagement going. But then if you're like that on LinkedIn or any platform, and you post things like that, you've got to be prepared for the backlash that kind of comes. And it either comes in the form of completely inappropriate comments, which I just kind of let go over my head, or it comes to the guys that are kind of, and women, you're not doing women any favors by being like that.
You know what though? Like we've had these. Sorry, Lee.
You go first, mate. You're more important than me. Go on.
That's nice. I think the subject matter changes, doesn't it? But we're all guilty of it. Not guilty. That's the wrong word. But if you post things for a reaction, you're going to get a reaction, aren't you? So there's a reason you do it. You stand out, and I'm the same, Craig Lee. You've been the same in the past, where I put language in my stuff, and people you'll get the odd person going, "Oh, I don't agree with language," but it works because you're standing out and you're doing something different, and it's done what you've wanted it to do. Ultimately, well, it doesn't matter on the subject matter, does it? It's a different way of presenting yourself to reach an audience. It's as simple as that. So you take the rough with the smooth, don't you?
Yeah, and some people will say, you know, oh, I get it all the time. Oh, LinkedIn's a professional network, you know, go and post on, you know, if you want to post a selfie of yourself looking sexy in a hard hat, go and post it on Facebook. At the end of the day, any platform is what you want it to be. Whatever I post will have an effect on my business, and it's up to me, you know, whether I'm happy with that response or not. I mean, I guess Absolutely. It helps in a way that I don't really have a boss as such, even though my husband would probably differ. But, you know, we're equal partners in the businesses, and, you know, it's just the way it goes sometimes. And it does frustrate me a little bit. You know, I think everyone's got to take the blame in a way for what they post, and take the flack, take the good, take the bad. But ultimately, it's up to you what you put on there, whether it damages your business or whether it helps your business. Ultimately, as a business owner, it's your choice what you put on there.
100%.
And I've noticed that Craig, you know, Craig's post, I love Craig's post because he's just like me. He's so honest and he's so blunt, and he'll swear on there. And you see it all the time. Oh, you shouldn't be swearing. Why not? If that's his business and it doesn't affect his business and he's happy doing that, he should be allowed to say and do whatever the hell he wants.
Absolutely.
It's not going to buy from me. That's it. It's just another way to filter out the
that
people
one person,
that are not buying.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's what intrigues me about you, if I'm being honest, is the hard hat pictures, is the sort of calendar photos. I think it's
great.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that. I was
looking
at wine.
Slipped a bit of nip in there.
I was looking at,
but why not? But why
Right.
not? You're obviously a confident woman. You wear it well. I think that there's a lot of women out there what could learn a lot from it. I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. And I think, end of the day, if you've got it, chuck it out there and use it to your advantage. But I mean, do you feel that that's why you fit in the construction industry so well? Because let's be honest, it's a very misogynistic, yet heavily sort of male environment. And do you feel that they both go hand in hand, that you don't care about what everybody thinks and you fit in construction as well? What's crack with that?
I think at the end of the day, it does do me a favour the way it is what it is, because, you know, I mean, I rock up on site. I'm always in heels. Obviously, I have to change them when I go on site and put the safety gear on before the bloody brigade starts. But, you know, I always rock up on site. I've usually got some naff music blasting out. I've got MILF on the number plate. You know, I do not give a shit. I really don't. But I must admit that it does work to my advantage. You know, I have blokes on site and they tend to be, you know, kind of, I'm probably really going to regret saying this, but like the older site managers, and they absolutely love it, you know, because I treat everybody with respect, whether it's the owner of a company that we're doing work for, whether it's the client who wants a £5 million house building, or whether it's our labourers and apprentices. Everybody gets treated the same. Everybody's shit stinks. Nobody is any better than anybody else.
Why, Granny, did you say that?
But it's so true, you know. So I will get on with anybody, and I do dress provocatively, and I do use it to my advantage. But if I'm happy doing that, why not? There are days I rock up on site and I look like absolute shit. You know, no one's got a problem with that. And those photos where there's no makeup and there's no glamour. Do you know what I mean? But the minute there's a picture on there in heels, you know, people are so quick to jump on it. But it's water off a duck's back. I'm too old to be bothered.
But there's always two things on that. The people that always comment negatively are the ones that never actually post anything themselves. So they've got no idea what engages and what doesn't. So their opinion is pointless anyhow. And they're telling us what we can and can't post. Yeah, well, we wouldn't post anything that damages us as individuals or our businesses that we actually run, because it's not the sort of thing you do. So you only post the stuff that you know works for you and enhances the audience that actually like and want to buy from you. And this is what then people don't get. It's crazy.
Do you know what though? It's the same that Natalia raised a really good point in that if you're a business owner, you've got that freedom to say what you want, because ultimately all it does is take cash out your pocket if it goes wrong, or put cash in your pocket if it goes right. But we always say that in marketing, like as brave as you want to be, you're making that choice. We'll come up with the ideas, you say yes or no. But advertising, marketing, it's the same as LinkedIn, really, that you can put I don't know if you saw that article on the news about an estate agent that said that COVID had done this certain area a favour because the house prices had risen. And they were on BBC News. No one's ever heard of them. They were on BBC News yesterday. Probably millions of people learning about their company. It's either someone's really stupid or someone's really clever. but the principle is the same, is that no press is bad press in my eyes, as long as you've not got, let's say you're Coca-Cola and you put something out that's horribly racist, then yeah, of course it's bad press. But if no one knows you in the first place, or not many people know you in the first place, crack on, do whatever you want.
What can you damage? What can you damage?
Nothing. There's nothing there to damage.
Do you find though as well that I feel that majority of them that do have an issue with it and do have an issue with how some women present themselves, want to do it themselves, and just haven't got the knackers to do it, and got the bollocks to do it.
I think as well, maybe haven't got the backing. I mean, I'm really lucky, and there's been comments on a couple of my photographs. Oh, you know, your fella must be a really understanding bloke. And to be fair to him, he is. You know, he does let me post what I want and wear what I want and do what I want. But if he didn't, then I wouldn't have married him, quite simply. You know, so it kind of works. No, but it works both ways. You know, but I think a lot of women maybe haven't got that support network, whether it's a partner or, you know, a family, parents or whatever. And it is difficult. You know, they say that, oh, women have got more equality than they ever have. And we have, you know, and I am the furthest thing you will ever find from a feminist. I really am. Feminism frustrates me greatly for a lot of reasons. But, you know, the main problem I have with it is that feminism tries to free us from all this misogynistic restraints that we do still have, we really do, but then they try to make us define ourselves by another set of rules, and that's what I take problem with. You know, everybody's an individual, and male, female, you should be able to do what you want and say what you want within reason, obviously.
Absolutely. I think that society, I was having a similar conversation with someone the other day about it, that society, I forget what I was watching that made me think about it. It might have been Indiana Jones or something, and it had a thing, but when you opened Indiana Jones on Sky, it said views and beliefs in this program are somewhat outdated now and viewers must watch with caution. I was like, it's Indiana Jones, for crying out loud. So I thought, I wonder what's in it. And there's a couple of things that could be deemed racist, which have got feminist, definitely. And I was having a conversation with someone thinking, well, society has dictated that women have got a place for, I don't know, generations, really, haven't they? And there's still elements of that hang around, which I think are nice, you know, like opening a door for a woman and, you know, things that are gentlemanly to do. But I've spoken to a lot of women who see that as an attack on their individuality, their femininity, their power. No one I've dated. Let me throw that out there.
Also, Steve, you're from Stockport, mate. You don't do any
no,
of that.
No one on that big long line, Steve.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, I think there's crossed lines where it's blurs in the middle, where women are equally, if not more so, capable than men in most roles. But at the same time, they're still females, and there should be that respect that is given to them. And I think the lines blur there, where people don't really know what to do with it, and people, especially from a certain generation, blur those lines that much that it becomes almost, not trying to be, but it's almost offensive with the comments that we make, especially on social media. That's my opinion, anyway.
Times are changing, though, mate. Times are changing.
No, definitely are, yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, I'm 34 now. I first started working on site when I was 18 years old, and it is built into you as a bloke. I used to be a roofer, so I used to be working on big, massive units. You'd see a female walk past, you'd all be wolf whistling, you'd all be shouting stuff. No, you would, but you wouldn't see anything wrong as that as a male. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't see anything wrong.
Just the environment.
Just the environment you're in. If a woman come on site, they just wouldn't. You've just never seen a woman on site ever. I mean, and do you think that's changing now? I mean, do you get any of the wolf whistling? Has it all changed? Is it all changing, Natalia? What do you think? Is it dying out?
I'm gutted. You don't get wolf whistled anymore. I'm devastated. And when you get older, believe me, you need them whistles. But no, you no, definitely not. You don't. You don't get it at all.
Oh, really? Because that's a good big thing now. I thought that.
Mate, I'm telling you now, people are scared to do it. I feel like blokes are scared to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is inappropriate. Unwanted attention in any format it can be deemed inappropriate. I mean, end of the day, no one gives a male a right to ogle a woman and shout things and whistle stuff like that. But it is sort of one of them things now where you won't see that anymore. I don't see it anymore. I ain't seen it. And a lot of people that I know would not dare do or go anywhere near that. I mean, it's a good thing, don't get me wrong. But times are definitely changing. And females in construction like yourself, to be doing and have a company like yourself and to be doing as well as what you are, it's very inspiring. And it's quite inspiring to see.
Thank you.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
it is.
I had a
On that
question to
point,
ask Natalia,
go on.
and sorry, Lee, you go because I keep questions. I think you're just quicker than you in the brain.
Mate, most people are, mate. Anyway, but that's the way it is. But I was going to ask the question. So you've gone from construction. Where did the gym business come from? Because that fascinates me because it's completely like chalk and cheese. And what got you into that?
The gym's always been a hobby. I qualified as a personal trainer about 8 years. I've always gone to the gym. I've always been into fitness. I've always loved working out. You know, the rush that I used to get from cardio was like no other. And I've always worked out. Qualified as a PT. And my dream, when we were, you know, living the normal 9-to-5 lives, was to have my own gym. That was what I've always wanted to do. And then obviously the construction and development side and the building side came, which was great. And we were flying with that, and we're so busy, you know, because we try and do as much as we can ourselves. You know, my husband deals with all the commercial side of things, and I deal with all of the health and safety, the admin. I also go on site as well. So we try and do as much as we can. A lot of the office stuff, we've took employees on and things. But he came to me when the construction industry was at its peak at the end of the first lockdown. You know, we had the end of lockdown 1 and we'd opened up again, and the construction industry never shut down. You know, as you're aware, it's just been crazy. The only thing that we struggled with the first time was suppliers.
Tell me about it.
It's hard to get stuff, but sites were still open, the lads still wanted to work and everything else. So that had been and gone, and we'd ramped back up again. We got more lads than we'd ever had before. And my husband came home one night and said, "I've got your present." I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be that Bentley Continental or something really good. And it was keys to a gym.
Well,
and
that's
I had to kind of feign this gratitude. No, I feel really bad saying that. But the point I'm making is that was our dream years ago, to have this gym, because he knows how much I loved it, you know, and he wanted me to be able to work the hours that suited me, that worked around the kids, because we've got 5 children, you know, and 3 years ago, that would have made me the happiest person in the world. But things change, and I don't think he realises, he's so busy, I don't think he realises exactly how busy I am with the construction and development side of things. So I was like, oh, that's great. And I am grateful. I mean, I'm joking about it now. I am grateful. But I'm thinking, I'm going to have to get some staff in. I can't do all the classes myself. And then we do about 18 classes a week, I think, 18. And I said, I'm going to get someone in to help me with some of the classes. And he just looked at me and he's like, well, why aren't you going to do it yourself and keep profit up? These are classes a week. Are you fucking for real? You know, he doesn't realise how draining it is to teach. When I was employed by a gym, I did about 10 hours of classes a week. That's a killer. It really is a killer. So obviously I've got staff in to help, and they do, I think, about 6 hours a week. So when lockdown 3 came, secretly I was like, yes, I get the rest. I don't want it to open.
So lockdown 3, homeschooling, how's that going?
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Lockdown 3, homeschooling, how's that going with 5 kids?
Gym shut, which is great. Homeschooling, I'm not going to lie, the first week, come Friday night, I was dreading Monday morning, dreading it. Because, you know, I've got the kids in the office, I've got staff in the office, everyone's masked up. It was just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And I suppose, luckily, having my own business, I can sort of take a break, and I haven't got to be there at specific times. I'm really lucky. You know, I don't know how these people go on that have to do regimented hours in front of a computer when they've got kids, because you can't leave them on their own. My kids that are at school are age 6, 8 and 14, the youngest three. 14-year-old, yeah, he can kind of do it himself. But the 6-year-old and the 8-year-old, with the best will in the world, if I leave them to it, you know, they need help. And then, oh, I need glue, mum, or I need this, I need something printed off. You know, you're constantly running back and forth like a headless bloody chicken. But 3 weeks in, we are into a routine. We really are properly into routine, and I'm not dreading it like I used to, thank God.
My business partner the other day we were on a meeting with one of our clients in New York, and the sound, like, they're really lovely people, but this little blonde like head just came floating across the bottom of his screen, and she started just going off at him about something. I can't remember what it was, but he holds it together as well. He's got 2 under 4, I think, and he's absolutely tearing his hair out. But I haven't got kids, thank God.
Yes. So honestly, you guys are lucky, because obviously I've got a 2-year-old and a 14-year-old, and luckily, and it's kind of a double-edged sword.
14.
No, I've got a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old.
14.
Did I say 14-year-old?
You just said 14.
Sorry, that's not what I'm missing now. So I've got a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old, but the double-edged sword is that Jen, my missus, owns a salon or runs a salon, so she's not working at the moment, so she's at home, so she can look after Jen, Daisy and Una.
Do you know your kids?
But the problem, pardon?
Do you know your kids? Have you met them?
Yeah,
He doesn't know how many he's got or what the names are.
No, but the thing is, I was typing away the other day on an email, and then Daisy come rocking in. Daddy, what's up? It's 12:15, and I'm late for lunch. but this is happening up and down the land. It is crazy, but yeah, it's not easy.
How do you fit all hours in then? How do you do it? Come on, I'm sure everyone wants to know how you do it. Couple of businesses on go, 5 kids, and an husband to feed. How do you do it? Is that where the idea of the book come from, Natalia? Is that where the idea came from?
That was a bit of escapism. That was get me out of here. Let me dream a little bit. No, I don't. I think, you know, people kind of ask, you know, how do you do it, and they expect this magic formula, something, you know, for you to kind of come up with something magic as to how. And the answer is
winning formula.
You sacrifice and you work hard. I get up at 4:30, 5 every morning to do what I need to do, whether it's to go to the gym, well, not go, but work out, whether it's to work out, whether it's to write a book, or, you know, me time, because that is the only time I get is before 7 o'clock, when the house erupts into madness. So I get up early, and that's the time when I do what I want to do. Everything else, I just try and squeeze into the other 15 hours that I'm actually awake. I'm lucky that I don't need a great deal of sleep, and I've never been a big sleeper. But I released a booklet recently. I don't know if you had a copy of it or not, just surviving lockdown. It was just a 7,000 word, just a little bit of a help for people that were struggling. And the topics that were covered were homeschooling, you know, mental health issues that people were having, how to, you know, maintain a reasonably decent mental health yourself, sexual issues, and what was the other one?
Listening, Steve.
Remember now.
Yeah, have you got that?
The point I'm making is, you know, the answer in there was, sometimes you've got to just bite the bullet and, you know, put a bit of work in. There is no magic formula to anything in life.
I believe that. I believe that. I mean, me and my missus were talking the other day. I'm sure there is relationships getting destroyed weekly in the current climate. I don't know how we haven't argued. It's hard, but I think it does all come down to doing it as much work as what you're going to put in. I've got a 15-year-old. You know, I mean, it's not much work. He's a good lad. 15-year-old cracks on with his work. We've got a dog. My missus works quite long hours. I work long hours. But you just got to dig your fucking heels in, haven't you? And what's the other? What's
Do you
the
know
other
what, I was
option?
saying this. Actually, I had the pleasure of speaking to Lee on the phone today, and and I was saying the same thing. Like, we're doing really well, fortunately, because the advertising and marketing industry is booming because everyone's got more time on their hands, so they're putting it back into the branding, advertising, yada yada. And I'm going on to Lee like, oh, we're so busy, we've got so much work coming in, and like it's a bad thing. And I had to check myself. I think I actually said to you, like, what am I doing here? Like, who am I to moan about being busy in a time where a lot of people, they've got, whatever business, most businesses, let's be honest,
Exactly
have been
that.
massively affected.
And all four of us here now, obviously, Natalia, you're in construction. I supply the window and door fabricators. Craig installs the windows. Steve's in marketing. you don't. You just sell them and then get
I just point finger.
Yeah, put that in there. But on that, all four of us are lucky in that all of our markets and all of our businesses as such are absolutely booming because of the result of lockdown. Obviously, lockdown 1 was very stressful because all of us pretty much shut down and couldn't do anything. But we've come out of that and experienced phenomenal growth, phenomenal sales, phenomenal revenue, and we're, all four of us are very lucky in that.
Yeah, really lucky.
So we have to take umbrage from that, but and there are people
it's not a place to sit and moan about being busy anymore. Like, and that, you say, like, Natalia raised a great point, and I'm the same. I don't know how you do it. I've got one business, and I don't hardly sleep. And you, Greg, you're the same. And I know Lee, you work mega hard. Yeah. And it is because you put everything into your business. It's your heart and soul, and you don't know. I don't think most people know how to not make it the main focus of their life. And it's like breaking that sort of work is life to actually know family and this is life. But you've got to buy time from one to the other, haven't you? Really.
I think you touched on it though as well, Natalia, at the beginning when you said that you're very entrepreneurial. I wouldn't say I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm a sole business owner. I go to bed at fucking night. Yeah, I worry about things. Yeah, I'm super like wow, and I don't think that's an entrepreneurial mindset. I don't think it is. I think an entrepreneurial mindset is fucking ruthless. I think true entrepreneurial mindset is can take it rough.
I wouldn't agree, Craig. Like, I really wouldn't agree. I think that
I think it is, mate.
You've got to be so brave to go out on your own and go, do you know what? I'm going to go and do that. Not everyone has investors. Not everyone has like rich parents behind them saying, go and spend this money and start your own business. To step out of a company and go, I'm going to do it on my own today, and then go, got no clients here. That takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of dedication and hard work, because you don't make money unless you work hard, unless you're very fucking lucky. So I think entrepreneur is a word that's bandied around a lot, in that you see a guy that's an entrepreneur driving his Lambo to, wherever you, well, what should we say? The Bellagio in Las Vegas.
Not very far at minute. Not very far at minute. Down road, round Morrison's car park.
Donut in Morrison's at 11. But no, I don't. I just think that entrepreneurial has got like this gloss around it, but it's not. It means you've got the mindset to go and be your own boss and to start your own business. And if you've done that, you deserve a lot of respect, especially from me. Tell you.
No, I think entrepreneurial is a little bit different from a business owner. I really do.
But it's just my opinion. We've had conversations about where you're going to take, if you've got goals for the future, if your business is successful, you can go and do this and you can go and do that. Natalia is a prime example of that, where she's taken one thing and turned it, not stopped there, and turned it into something else.
I think that's entrepreneurial.
It is, but I used to say you're not going to do that in the future.
And then that's when I put my hand up and say I'm an entrepreneur.
Get a t-shirt.
I mean, look, have you always been the same as what you are now, or have you found yourself evolving over the years? I mean, how did it start? Did you always want to be a business owner? What happened?
I've always been the same. I've always been the same, and I think that was one of the things that came out in my autobiography, was that I can remember having a job at 18 as a sales manager for Comet, was. I mean, it's the Comet is no more, but it used to be like that. Curry's, in electrical retail. And
you eat Curry's?
Do I eat? Oh,
no, he eats Curry's.
Oh, you eat Curry's?
You work for Curry's. He eats Curry's.
No, I always work for Curry's. Right. That's how I got into sales. I was actually, here's one for you, sorry to interject. I was one of the only part-time salespeople at Curry's. I'd sold £1 million year on year of washing machines working Saturday and Sunday. That's how I realised I was good at sales.
That's amazing. I'm shit at sales. I've had sales jobs, like the odd brief sales job where you have to do cold calling, and I just can't do it. I cannot do it. I'm too. I can be ruthless when I need to be, but I don't like hassling people. It's just not for me. So fair play for doing that. Sales is not my forte at all.
Or Craig's.
I'm really bad at it. I'm really bad at sales. I don't sell anymore. I really don't. I just said to people, Google us.
Yeah. He opens the window and the orders just fly through, don't they? Like, hello.
Well, So what were you saying then? You started off at Curry's then, Natalia, and how did
Yeah,
you go
sorry,
from
at
there, then?
Comet. Yeah, I worked for Comet, which was
yeah.
the same as Curry's. And I can just remember, I can still remember it now to this day, where I was driving to work thinking, this 9 to 5 just isn't for me. It just wasn't
How old were you?
fulfilling. Sorry?
How old were you then?
18.
18.
Yeah. I did my A-levels and mum and dad wanted me to go to university, and I was like, absolutely no fucking way. No way. I want to earn some decent money. I don't want to, even though I was really academically gifted, without blowing my own trumpet, I was. And I ended up going on to get a first class honours degree a few years down the line. So I did have the potential, but my heart just wasn't in it. I didn't know what I wanted. And I got offered this job purely by chance. That was just someone that was trying to fuck me, basically. But I got the job. I didn't fuck him. Not straight away. I got the job first.
Not straight away.
But I got the job, and I just remember thinking, this isn't for me. It's just not. I need something that I've always got this hunger and this creative streak and this need for something more. And I jacked that in, and then I did end up marrying my first husband, and I was pregnant. And that's when I went back to uni, because I thought, you know what, I'm pregnant, I'm fat and ugly, I'm not really going to go anywhere at the moment, so I might as well get the uni out of the way. No, seriously. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to uni and I'm going to get the degree that I know I'm capable of doing, because then I might know what I want to do. So I got the degree, had another child, did a master's, because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I thought, I want to make money and hone that creative side. And that's when I knew that I wanted to be my own boss, because I did not like being told what to do by anybody. I want to be my own boss, and I want to make good money. You know, I had ambitions. My mum and dad, they were working class all their lives. They didn't have money, but my dad worked his ass off, and he ended up, he bought this brand new Jaguar, I'll never forget. And he was absolutely chuffed to bits, and he got a great work ethic. And I saw them having, we took us on fantastic holidays, and he had a nice car, we had a nice home. And I thought, yeah, I want to get some decent money, and I want a nice car, and I want a nice home, but I want that next level. And so I just decided to go into business, and the first business that I had was a wholesale bakery in Canada, which was a bit of a random thing, but made a huge success of that, and then realized that was definitely where my calling was to be in business.
Was you rolling in it?
Sorry, rolling in it. No, bubble.
Before we finish the 40 minutes, I did get an email or a message from Vic, who obviously couldn't make it.
Oh no, is this in like a eulogy?
This is the Vic being the fourth rat, the lowest in the pack, obviously. He messaged me saying, look, I'm really sorry guys that I can't be with you boys. Unfortunately, I have better things to do than spend an hour drinking alcohol and speaking bollocks with a bunch of weirdos. Actually, I'd rather do that. So I'll see you both next month, or all next month. Much love, the V.
They got the V.
What a guy. So
in
yeah,
spirit,
look,
not in body.
Yeah, start burning. What is it? Incense and fucking set candles on fire. Yeah, fucking idiot. That's the end of episode. That's the end of episode 4. It's a big thank you from all of us to Natalia. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I hope we haven't done your head in on a Thursday night, lover. But it's a pleasure to have you on. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, until next time.